we recently mentioned that the OnePlus 12 has an official global release date, and now the Buds Pro 3 from OnePlus have just been released in China on the 4th of this month. And while we haven't seen any confirmation as of yet to its global release, it does mean that we could potentially see these earbuds debut alongside the flagship on the 23rd. Now, mind you, I have personally tested out the Pros 2, and while they weren't as crazy when it comes to pricing compared to other ANC earbuds, I didn't find the audio to be as desirable, which you could kind of expected that. So I'm hoping that OnePlus can improve and adjust that with this new iteration, and even hopefully the ANC as well. So,
what's your price point? Do you think they'll go for this?
I haven't heard anything, but I would be very surprised if the price point did change unless they really made some breakthrough improvements. So
yeah, because at that point, it'd be kind of against their whole,
it would
statement
be, but
of being overpriced.
It's kind of one of those things where I would say if you're gonna compete with the pros,
You
then
gotta make it a little more pricey.
you can put yourself in that bracket, but it's also based on the features. So yeah,
that's true. Yep. Well, speaking of nothing, Nothing's prices for the 2A have been leaked, and we're expecting it to be more budget-friendly, kind of like how we mentioned a little while ago. Looks like it's going to be around $444. I will remind you that this will have a lower-class chipset and a downgraded camera, if you will. So I think the price is warranted. I'm not sure if you would agree with that or not, but that's kind of how I feel about it. Seems okay for what you're getting with all the specs and everything. So
I don't know. Yeah, I'd really have to test that thing out because in my mind, I would almost shoot for the regular nothing phone than to go with the 2A. So, but that's just me.
Yes, I would agree.
I think that's just more based off of what can you get in that price range, and when you compare that to the Pixel lineup, it's like.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, actually, now that you kind of mentioned that, I did see an article, and I was kind of debating about whether to put it in here. I think it was, who was it that released this copy of an iPhone 15? It was a company. I don't know if it was Xiaomi or someone. I don't know if you saw that, but basically, Xiaomi or some other company released this basic exact copy of the iPhone 15 Pro, kind of, and it was like $200. It had some lower specs in it, like a lower chipset and everything, but like it had like 8 gigs of RAM, 256 storage, camera quality was like 100 megabits, I think it is, and it looked pretty good, but it just kind of goes to show you like you can have something that still works pretty good for a lower price point. It's just dependent on how much money and profit you're trying to make off of it. So
yeah, no, that's true. I can kind of see where you're going with that. I think it just, for me, with the 2A, it all goes back to the MediaTek. And since we really don't have much familiarity with that processor here in the States, that's where a lot of my doubts come from. So
that's fair, yeah.
But not going to break this all down because there's probably only so many of you that are still interested in using Beeper Mini. But if you are, there are steps in the article and the link in the description that kind of go over some of the stuff that I'm going to skip. That said, Beeper Mini has essentially given its farewell move to offering iMessage to Android users. This move requires a Mac or a jailbroken iPhone. And they state that if this process is shut down by Apple, they have no intent on, releasing or offering any more patches or fixes to the process. They also mentioned that, quote, the iMessage connection software that powers Beeper Mini is now 100% open source, unquote. Basically offering up to the public what they have developed, if anyone cares to pick up the baton, as it were.
Gotcha.
So really don't have anything more to say on this just because we've already covered our thoughts and opinions on this in previous episodes. But if anything new arrives on the horizon concerning Android messaging services that kind of bridges the gap to Apple, we'll definitely be certain to update you guys on that. So
yeah, it's still kind of annoying. I don't want to harp on it too much, but just the whole frustration of them being basically pressured just to drop the whole thing is really saddening, I think, because it really opened the door for a lot more options and a lot more abilities for this whole messaging thing to be a lot less complex.
Exactly.
Be more of a union, as it were. But don't really have much more to say on that. It's just annoying for sure.
Exactly.
But another quick hit is that Lowe's is now accepting Apple Pay. Now, I actually did work at Lowe's for a little while. A few years back, I worked in the paint department, and it boggled my mind at times because Lowe's, of all of the major stores, still hadn't gone to Apple Pay just yet, and that was, like I said, like 3 years ago. So it's just one of those long overdue things, but hey, better late than never, I guess.
Hey, it could be worse. You could be Walmart.
You could be Walmart, yes, which I don't think, as far as we've seen, there has been an update that they've actually added Apple Pay. So,
and I don't think they have any plans in the near future to do that anyway. So I think they're really set on Walmart Pay. So
they're just as stubborn as Apple.
By not offering Apple Pay. Anyway.
Yes.
No, but that is good to hear. I often shop at Lowe's, so it's nice to be able to use mobile pay there.
Yeah.
T-Mobile is making some changes to its streaming perks, and depending on your perspective, it might not seem like that much of a perk. One change is that they're now offering Hulu on Us, but it's only offered to those that are on the Go 5G plans or on the Magenta Max plan, which is an older one. So if you're on anything else, you're kind of out of luck, maybe.
Of course.
This would sound great, except that Hulu plan that they are offering is ad supported. And in a day and age where we are blitzkrieged by countless ads, I kind of wish that T-Mobile would have offered the Hulu plan that is ad free. Now, one could say that maybe I'm asking for too much from T-Mobile, especially considering they already offer Netflix on Us without ads. That's kind of where part 2 comes into play. So somewhere between now and February, users who have opted in on that service will begin to see ads on Netflix, as T-Mobile will no longer be offering that ad-free plan. Now, we know that Netflix has adjusted their original offerings and getting rid of the lower-priced ad-free plan by making the $15 option the next available access without ads. But I would beg to ask, why offer 2 separate services with ads? I would much prefer that they would give you one streaming service, even one such as Netflix, to be ad-free. So it's one of those things where I kind of wish they would have polled their customers to say, hey, what do you prefer? Maybe not even just ads versus ad-free, but do you prefer Hulu or Netflix? Because when it all comes down to it, the Netflix ad-supported is $6.99 and Hulu ad-supported is $7.99. Round that up, that's $15, which is Netflix. So I don't know. It's going to be hard to say how that works out as far as how people perceive it, but in my opinion, I'm not a fan. I'm not sure if maybe I'm alone in that, or if you maybe see the devil's advocate to it all. But
no, I'm not going to play that card just yet. No, I think you're right. I think giving the user an option to choose between 2 services, especially when you're getting a slight cut, you're paying for ads, so $1 more is going to affect your budget in a little bit. I think giving the option to the user is beneficial. It also shows that you do care about their opinions, about what they would like to have, what they will, you're offering this deal. I would assume you'd want, and I feel like that would actually get you more, customer basis like that. So,
right, and that's a really good point to bring up, because we talked about how Verizon was doing this, where they were having like a package deal of Hulu and Netflix for certain plans. T-Mobile had that as the advantage of, hey, we don't offer the ad supported plan, we offer the ad free. So now that's kind of out of the advantage bracket. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure.
But in either case, we do have one deal this week, and that is the iPad Mini 6th Gen is down from $400 to $300 savings there, and I believe that's on Amazon. So pretty nice deal. But that said, Riley, you had something on what?
I had something on Apple, which segues perfectly because I didn't know what deal he was doing. But we were going to actually record this yesterday, but we had some slight technical difficulties and issues. But yesterday would have been the 17th anniversary of when the first iPhone was created. On that day, the 9th, in 2007, Steve Jobs announced the iPhone, a revolutionary device that compounded internet, camera, games, cellular, all into one device with a screen. There's a lot we could go into at this special occasion, but I did just want to mention that because while there are many things that Apple has done wrong over the years, in 1 year, in 1 month, they have done plenty of excellent things, and I think it is important and valid to look at both sides of the equation and not constantly downplay a lot of the advancements and successes that Apple has made over the years. So I kind of just have one question for you. What do you think is the best iPhone that Apple has ever made? And that could be in terms of like maybe one that you found the most interesting, the one that's just best by performance, the one that has the most nostalgia. Like, what do you think, in your opinion, would be the best?
The best iPhone I ever used was the 11 Pro. And I haven't really been shy about mentioning that in past episodes. But
that's fair.
Yeah, that's the one that's my favorite, just because it's the last one that had the rounded edges, and however, it just it had the latest tech at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it had the tri-camera setup. So that was really my favorite. As far as like, if I were to say like iconic, then I'd probably have to go like a 4 or 4S or something like that.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like that was among the golden child when it came to iPhone lineups. So
for sure. I'll just say mine is my 13 Pro. I've enjoyed it very much. It's gotten me through every day. It's got good battery life on it. And surprisingly, I was actually looking recently at the depreciation values of iPhone since the iPhone SE2 or the 10. And the iPhone 13 Pro is one of the top 4 out of all of those in the last 5 years that still held most of its value. And I think that's just because it was well put out. The performance of the camera and the actual device itself, with ProMotion being added, and ProRes being added, and all that kind of stuff. I think it was just a really solid package. I think iconic. I will say, I don't know. I feel like the 6 was
I was going to say the 6 would be the next one on the list.
The 6 would be the next one.
Drastic change, yeah.
The drastic change.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Only, I mean, and we're kind of, I don't know about you, but we're kind of side playing the whole Bendgate thing. But just because of the form factor of it all and how it did change things compared to the flat edges, although we're now back to that, but
came back full circle or full square. Yeah, it's just great. I think I'll just say this is my last thing here. I think the 6 did a good job of still keeping the original, presence of its previous phone
models,
previous models, but also changing just slightly. And this is where the whole like getting rid of which we haven't spoken about in a while, actually, the whole headphone jack situation with the. Yep. I think it was the 8 when they started getting, or was it the 7?
I believe it's the 7 because I remember that because that's the one that had the jet black.
That's right.
Yeah, the 6 and the 6S were the last ones to actually have headphone jacks.
It was, I think, because it was perfect. It was like the headphone jack was there. It was a new type of look, but it still had that same kind. It was, I think that was iOS 7, wasn't it, or 9?
Oh boy. Yeah, we're now jumping down that road. Yeah,
I can't remember.
8, somewhere in there. I can't remember either.
Regardless, anyway, but yeah, that was a really good one. So yeah, it's 17 years. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Going back to the first one. Speaking about cell phones, we'll go back to carriers. So Verizon is rumored to once again hike legacy plans by $3 to $5 a month. Most of which are business plans, so I won't go through all of them. They are in the link in the description if you want to check those out. However, there's also an increase on the seemingly arbitrary fee for business accounts of economic adjustment charge, a fee that has continued to be more and more ubiquitous over the past year and a half. And as it implies, it's evidently due to the pressure of the economy. How much of that is true, I have no idea. The fee originally started out at $2.20 per line per month back on June 16th of 2022 and had certain stipulations on which lines would receive that charge. Mm-hmm. It has since then increased to $2.98 on January 11th of last year, and those stipulations have also adjusted, and it seems like almost every line on those business accounts is receiving that charge. But now that fee is rumored to increase by 99 cents, bringing it to just under $4 per line per month. So one line over a year is $48, and a lot of business accounts have, probably over a dozen, some probably over 50 lines per account. So it's crazy how that works, and unfortunately, that's just the way it rolls with Verizon.
This is slightly unrelated, but do you remember when you could go to the store and grab a soda for like maybe 25 cents?
25 cents, yeah, like the soda can, yeah.
Soda can, yeah, just out of vending machine. My wife and I just went a couple of days ago to get a soda for $1.
Is that a can or a bottle?
A can.
Wow.
Yeah. And the reason why I bring that up is just because I think when you're accounting in for inflation and then the deficit over the last 20 years, the dollar has increased tremendously, and this is not surprising. And I would say to that effect, even though it's annoying, the streaming services, in certain respects, are warranted for their price increase. I won't say all of them because it's...
See, that's the frustrating thing, though, is
Yeah,
that, if
exactly.
you look at other companies like T-Mobile, they factor in taxes and such, and their prices are still, or at least were still lower than Verizon and even AT&T. So with all of these, we'll see this later on here in a little bit, with all of these, fees from Verizon, it's just getting way out of hand.
It is.
And, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Ironically, as I mentioned, there is a settlement concerning Verizon and its customers who subscribe to their service between the dates of January 1st, 2016 and November 8th of 2023. If you were a customer in that time range, you could be eligible for a payout of up to $100.
Ooh.
May not seem like much, but as Riley was mentioning with the economy, that's pretty desirable nowadays.
That'll get you a little bit of groceries for a few days. That's not bad.
The settlement stems from the administration charges that Verizon bombards their customers with on their monthly bill. The fee is said to be unfair and not adequately disclosed. Verizon continues to charge this fee, though, and adamantly states they are within their full rights to do so and even increase the fee if they deem necessary. Evidently, the process to claim this money is fairly easy, and you can check out the link in the description, and that'll take you right to that registration process. And the deadline to submit the claim is on February 15th of this year. Or, sorry, April 15th of this year.
We'll give you this $100, but we still think we're right to do what we want.
See what I mean? Verizon, I feel like they're just such a pain to deal with when it comes to pricing.
One of the worst ones for cellular. I used to think it was AT&T, but I think even they have better customer service.
Honestly, from a personal experience, I would give customer service, like, if I were to state customer service, it would be T-Mobile, Verizon, and then AT&T.
Yes.
I feel like
really?
Verizon is still closer to T-Mobile, though.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as customer service, when it comes to pricing, Verizon is absolute pain because they have all these fees and charges, some of which, like they were saying, hasn't been adequately disclosed. So it's just frustrating.
Agreed. Yeah, that whole area is just annoying over the last couple of years, so... Galaxy's Unpacked event has been announced and will be held on January 17th at 10 p.m. Pacific time. Now, the main theme for this event is going to be AI, or specifically Galaxy AI, as Samsung has posted a video showing a... Why did my... Oh, Siri, I don't want... No. Well, it looks like Siri wanted me to give information on this. Yes, it is on the 17th. It's 2024. Let's see. Oh, and now it wants me to do something else. Okay. So back to this. We obviously will be expecting let me back up first. So this event is going to be about AI, or Galaxy AI, as Samsung has posted a video showing a bit of a teaser, if you will, for this event. We obviously will be expecting the 24 series, but it'll be bounded with AI. How heavily is it going to be implemented? That remains to be seen. What I do want to see is that, in contrast with how Google has heavily implemented their AI with their Pixel phones, I think that if Samsung really wants to board this train, my personal thought is they need to utilize it as good, if not better, than Google, since I think you and I, JD, can agree that Google is the lead developer when it comes to integrating AI into their phones. But yeah, that's just what I'm thinking about it.
That's true, but we've also mentioned this before where I kind of feel like Samsung is at somewhat of a disadvantage just because they start out the year and, Google and Apple close with the iPhone and the Pixel in October and September. So that's kind of when you say Google is probably the lead in when it comes to AI integration with smartphones, I would say yes. And it also stems on your other statement of Samsung needing to be good or better than.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Google's already done a really good job with AI integration, just the basic things, the wallpaper and whatnot, just making it more seamless. And now we're going to have the next Pixel series. Who knows what that's going to be like just from a software standpoint. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying, and it's definitely going to be a challenge. The other interesting factor is that you brought this up. The Galaxy S24 was accidentally leaked or posted on Walmart.com with images and run-of-the-mill specifications and stuff like that. So not really going to be like as we have expected. It's not going to be any major leap from the S23 to the S24, but it was still there and it was still leaked. So obviously it's been removed, but.
Huh, that's interesting. And actually, that makes me think, I've said it before, where if you have more internal changes, you have less exterior, and sometimes this isn't true, but for the most part it is. And when you have less exterior changes, you have more interior changes. So my theory may be that if they aren't going to change a whole lot, and they didn't change it a whole lot last year, they might actually be heavily implementing AI into their phones. So that's a possibility.
Yeah, that's true, and I think I can see what you're saying there. Just because there are certain things that you can rely on without having to worry about, R&D of the exterior cameras, maybe battery processing, and then like you said, just the software itself. So yeah, and this is what the third. Technically, I would say it's the third generation where Samsung's had a repeat on design for the most part.
Basically, yes.
Yep. Yeah. But going back to Verizon on the bright side, if you can imagine that, their subsidiary Visible is back at it again with discounts if you sign up in time, as there's no guarantee on how long this will be available. But the promo code Visible24 will get you $5 a month off their base plan, $25 down to $20, and $10 off their plus plan, $45 down to $35, for a total of 24 months. Now, there isn't any contracts involved with this. It's more of like a locked-in price that you guys can enjoy if you sign up. The only fine print that any would hope doesn't happen is that it does stipulate they could raise their rates at any point in time.
Oh, of course.
Most would say that that is true of any plan associated with Verizon, potentially any company actually. But I would be kind of doubtful that they would, just because Visible has been pretty good about keeping their prices pretty level. So
yeah, I guess that is a plus side to all this. Gotta attract your customers somewhere.
Visible is the shining star for right now, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Don't really have much to really say about that, but I guess
no, because you haven't tried them either.
No, I don't. I haven't. But just hope they keep their prices down, I guess.
Right.
Sonic, Super Mario Brothers, Five Nights at Freddy's, and soon to be Legend of Zelda, and now Minecraft. Yes, we are finally getting a full-fledged Minecraft movie with a high chance of Jack Black voicing Steve, who's kind of like the main skin that you play in normally when you're playing in Java or whatever. We also have other famous faces you might recognize being voice casted. Jason Momoa, Emma Myers, Daniel Brooks, and Sebastian Eugene Hansen. Now, this movie is set to be released April 4th, 2025, and has apparently been in the works for quite some time now. I was not even aware of this up until this point. So, yeah, I'm very excited. JD and I are huge Minecraft fans. We built loads of mansions together in Creative, and he even got a small taste of survival, but really hated it. So I've been waiting for this for a long time, like for the last 8 years. So I truly hope it takes the cake.
That just kind of shows you how much of a diehard he is.
Yes.
I enjoy creative mode, but
I enjoy both.
Yeah, the interesting aspect of that is I actually like Jack Black. I liked him in Super Mario Brothers just because he did a great job at
He did
Bowser.
an excellent job. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be cool to see how that looks. I'm not really sure what the
Premise.
story mode or anything like that is, or
Yeah.
the plot. I'm not sure if you understand the back line of Minecraft. I mean, there have been some shows on Netflix, but I'm not sure how canon they are. But
Well, I will say they came out last year with this thing called Minecraft Legends, and
okay,
it had a lot of lore to it and explained certain things of how things why the way, why things,
were the way they were.
why things are the way they are in Minecraft right now as the vanilla game is. So if you
Okay.
play Legends, if you know about that kind of lore, like the game masters or whatever, and that summon you into this world and give aid, that could be also interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure what direction they'll take, but it's still very interesting to see how that's gonna look. So
Now, I assume they're going to stay with the block format when it comes to animation. Am I wrong,
I would assume
or did
so.
not say? Okay,
I
wasn't sure if that
I
article
feel
said
like if
anything.
you didn't, it wouldn't be Minecraft. It would be Skyrim
Okay.
or something to that effect. I don't
I
know.
think I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in either case, as far as closing out this episode, from the latest report on the Apple Newsroom, the Vision Pro is set to release February 2nd, with pre-orders starting on January 19th. And if you remember, this headset is going to fetch a lofty sum of $3,500, starting with the 256 gig model. I
Yeah.
don't imagine many of you pursuing this purchase, especially one that costs more than my first car. But it is worth it to at least keep an eye on how that product will fare and what we might be able to expect from Apple with future, hopefully cheaper models when it comes to AR/VR. That said, if you guys do plan on buying one, feel free to let us know in the comments.
Yeah. For any of those who are a rare person, I saw talk and rumors of the Vision Pro 2. I didn't read the article, obviously, but it's crazy that the thing hasn't been released yet and we're already getting, like, the next thing of, like, better display, better brightness, better performance. It's just, obviously the next one's going to be better, but let's just stick with this one, all right? We're already losing our minds about the price. Let's just not go crazy here.
Which, I mean, that's something you can expect because we see a lot
Yeah.
of rumors from not even just the next gen, but we've actually started seeing rumors for, like, stuff around, like, the iPhone 17. So, yeah,
I know.
it's typical. Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's just see how this thing works. I'm not really that excited, mainly because the price is depressing, but it would be cool to see how people kind of utilize this device and all the YouTube videos that are made on it, and Mr. Who's the Boss. He's kind of the person I'm
Yeah,
looking
I
forward
think
to
that's really the
reviewing
biggest
this.
question is, like, utilization. I mean, I obviously most would perceive it as like a luxury product that you're just for AR,
yeah.
VR gaming, 3D movies and stuff like that, which evidently they've leaked, or not leaked, but kind of promoted. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, man, that is like really, in my mind, it's pretty expensive. And yeah, you could buy a decent. Yeah, I don't know if you could buy a decent used car anymore at that price, at least reliable, but it is what it is. In either case,
Yeah.
that will wrap up this week's episode. This is JD and Riley. We will catch you guys in the next one.
Peace out.